What's going on, Read My Lips people? We are back. And accompanying me is RJ. RJ rocking the math gear. It's my bodyguard. Not that I need one, but it's I'd rather have him and not need him than need him and not have him. You know what I mean? Oh, more MSNBC talk. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about that just a little bit more, so bear with me. The Hill Rising actually dropped a segment, a pretty detailed segment, and The Hill was asking if MSNBC has lost the left. And I thought that was an interesting question, and I thought we could talk about it a little bit, because with what they've done to Andrew Yang, and the domino effect it had, and the backlash that followed, really got me thinking, are the Burners and the Yang Gang completely done with MSNBC? I mean, of course, you'll still have the Joe Biden supporters and the Pete Buttigieg's and people like that decide to watch MSNBC, but the progressive media, are they just going to be completely done with them? I mean, the rise of independent media is imminent, and this might have just sped up the process of people like me and other independent news media becoming more prominent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you the clip from The Hill Rising. We're going to watch that. We're going to come back.
This weekend, after having been completely slighted in two different debates, Andrew Yang finally put his foot down with MSNBC. First, he made this comment in a CNN interview with Wolf Blitzer.
You know, Wolf, all I can say is I miss CNN moderating these debates.
But then he went even further, laying out the network's dismissive and contemptuous treatment of him and launching a boycott MSNBC movement in a series of tweets. He said, in part, was asked to appear on MSNBC this weekend and told them that I'd be happy to after they apologize on air, discuss and include our campaign consistent with our polling, and allow surrogates from our campaign as they do other candidates. They think we need them. We don't. He went on to lay out exactly what justified his boycott. They've omitted me from their graphics 12 plus times, called me John Yang on air, and given me a fraction of the speaking time over two debates despite my polling higher than other candidates on stage. At some point, you have to call it. In other words, he brought receipts, and the internet responded. Hashtag boycott MSNBC trended on Twitter, and in a very real sense, this was a watershed moment for the network. I don't think you can possibly overstate how big a deal it is for a serious contender in the Democratic primary to boycott the network that is most directly associated with the Democratic Party and lazily referred to as liberal or left-leaning. It took courage for Yang, and I'm sure was extremely uncomfortable for a network that does seek to be the destination for left-of-center America. The truth is, though, the Yang's move simply laid bare a fissure that has been a long time coming. MSNBC has officially lost the left. Now look, the extent to which MSNBC was ever really of the left is questionable. At bottom, it's always been a corporate capitalist enterprise that happened to stumble on Keith Olbermann and find that rage against the Bush administration made for a successful business model. NBC News President Andy Lack, who, full disclosure, is the guy who fired me, came in 2015 with the mission to ditch the liberal lean of the network. I guess it was uncomfortable for him and the other execs at cocktail parties to be associated with the network where labor unions might be mentioned positively and trade deals negatively. They excised pro-working class voices like Ed Schultz from the network. Ideologically centrist journalists from NBC News were brought in to take over for more left-leaning opinion shows. They went on a right-wing hiring spree of Bush-era neocons. This lineup change positioned them perfectly for their current Trump-era incarnation, where they're essentially a mouthpiece of the national security state, purveyors of the elite-approved critique of Trump centering around his unseemly personality and disrespect for norms, and a bastion of the discredited neoliberal establishment. They have Steve Schmidt, John Brennan, Malcolm Nance, etc. Meanwhile, the network is absolutely shameless in the way that it covers the three anti-establishment candidates, Bernie, Tulsi, and Yang. Every interview with Tulsi must include the obligatory Assad apologist question, and conspiracies about her running third party or being a Russian asset abound. In These Times recently did an analysis of Bernie's primetime coverage on the network and found that he is mentioned 1/3 as often as Biden and far more negatively than any other candidate. Take a look at this graphic. The green is positive mentions and the black is negative. Some shows covered Bernie in an almost exclusively negative light. Guys like Donnie Deutsch spend every morning talking about how Trump is the end of the republic, but then say they would vote for Trump over Bernie. That's without even mentioning the amount of industry-approved right-wing talking points that are regularly rolled out to attack progressive priorities like Medicare for All and the Green New Deal. This is not liberal, and it is certainly not the left. There is nothing intellectual or principled or progressive about simply reflexively opposing Trump and worshiping the Republicans who oppose him when they have never reckoned with their own role, from deregulation to zombie Reaganism to the Iraq War that helped create this whole mess. The one thing they all have in common, the neoliberals and wealthy executives and Bush neocons, is a vested interest in pretending that everything was fine before Trump and everything will be fine again after Trump. So that brings me back to Andrew Yang. Now, some of you will object to calling him progressive. That's fine. But there's no doubt that his ideas fall outside of the spectrum of pre-approved, acceptable ideas. And there's also no doubt that his candidacy challenges those in the party who want to maintain control over the acceptable pathways and trajectories to power. If Andrew Yang can be successful, already besting senators, governors, and congressmen, then the party is exposed as the impotent, hollowed-out shell that it actually is. So don't get your hopes up about that. Andrew's apologies from MSNBC is going to be forthcoming. After all, why apologize when they are doing exactly what they intended to do? The Trump era has been clarifying in so many ways. I think every real progressive now knows that MSNBC is not their friend. And as Yang put it so cuttingly, they think we need them. We don't. Sagar, I really applaud him for doing this, though, because it does take actual courage.
No, it takes real courage. It's like I said, I think, before the debate, whenever Bernie, Elizabeth Warren, Kamala, and Cory Booker went after MSNBC for the Weinstein reporting, I was like, look, these people control 2 million viewers a night, right? The major organ of the mainstream left in the Democratic Party, standing up to them like Yang is, like they did at that time, that takes a lot of courage. But it also does show it's kind of an end of an era for them.
Yeah.
I mean, the internet has made it so that Yang doesn't need, he was born of the internet.
Before
he can stay on the internet.
Knew, you know, that there was a Yang, let alone that his first name was Andrew and not John. He was burning it up on Joe Rogan and catching on.
And so you don't need these people anymore. You can actually meme your way all the way to the Democratic stage. And then once you're there, my only criticism of him is he have to fight a little bit harder. And I think that he's been giving a little bit too much access to CNN and a few others because he came to the idea that, you know, working with these people will make it so that I will somehow get a fair shot. You will never get a fair shot from MSNBC, CNN, any mainstream media outlet, because they are unified in their hatred of anything outside the mainstream, because that's an existential threat to their ability to build up candidates. I mean, think about it. Like Yang's rise through Rogan, YouTube, and all that other stuff, that is the threat to the people who built Elizabeth Warren, Kristen Gillibrand, Kamala Harris, and Cory Booker. These are competing power centers.
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, I thought that segment was interesting, and I think they were spot on. And look, good for them for, you know, sticking up for Yang. I touched on it before, but I'll just say it again. I wish MSNBC would just be upfront about their bias and the people who they want to get through. And I think what Andrew did was brave. I think it was brave. It was bold. I wish Bernie would have done that in 2016. The landscape might have been different now, because in 2016 he had such a movement behind him that, you know, that would have been a really powerful narrative. But he didn't, and I think that, you know, bothered a lot of people. But Yang did. So, you know, shouts out to Yang, and good job on the Hill Rising for speaking on this and giving, you know, a fair and balanced perspective on things. So in other news, and I'm gonna put it on the screen above so you guys can read along with me. In my last video, I was asking where the narrative or where the speculation that MSNBC apologized to Yang came from, and I found it. and I'm going to read along. You guys can read on the screen too. Mike Breast, which breast, I mean, it's going to get me demonetized. Mike Breast posted something on Twitter, and he said the following. A person at MSNBC familiar with the matter told me that the NEC issued a private apology to Andrew Yang this weekend regarding their coverage. However, a spokesperson for the Yang campaign said the network hasn't been in touch. So that's as close as I can see at the first, sprouts or the first weeds sprouting of this apology that MSNBC supposedly laid out from Mike Breast is the one that put that out there. But then in the same tweet, he also did say that the Yang campaign said nothing of the sort happened. So like the Hill Rising was saying, like, why did they just blatantly lie like that? Why would you lie and then think nothing was going to come from it? Did you think Yang campaign was just going to be like, I mean, they're not being honest, but we'll just let it go. I don't get them. I don't get how these people think. They live in a different reality. They really do, I'm telling you. And the people that watch them solely live in a different reality as well. I kid you not. It's sort of similar to the people that only watch Fox News. They live in a different reality as well. I mean, the evidence is anecdotal, but I have a colleague of mine that only watches Fox News, and everything else is fake news. MSNBC, CNN, especially if it's on the internet. Well, what do you mean? I mean, if I were to tell them to watch my channel, or if I mention any of these other channels, any of them, whether they're dedicated to Yang, to Bernie, to Kamala, whoever, fake news, refuses to watch any of them because they are all wrong. His words verbatim. So, I mean, maybe MSNBC put that fake apology out so the people that only watch them solely will be appeased, that aren't on Twitter, that aren't anywhere else, so they can say, look at MSNBC. What a stand-up organization. See, they support their own. It was clearly a mistake. I don't know. That's all speculation. But I have something else for you. So it's on the screen so you guys can follow along with me. BearMa47 on Twitter posted something. She shared something rather. That was originally from Morning Joe. And she said, #YangGang. Shout out to MSNBC for not forgetting Andrew Yang this morning. Because I guess Morning Joe posted a poll. And the poll had Bernie Sanders, Warren, Buttigieg, Biden, Tulsi, and Andrew Yang. It was for New Hampshire. It showed Yang +2, Gabbard +3, Biden down 9. Biden, your brain is melting. Hang it up. You got to go, man. It's hard to watch. I'm gonna keep watching like a bad accident, but it's hard. Buttigieg +8. That bothers me. I'm not gonna lie to you, that bothers me. Warren flat and Sanders -1. Okay. So she, posted something that Morning Joe originally posted, which is cool. And what I said was, in response to this, was the fact that we have to acknowledge them for doing their job is crazy. You're not going to get kudos. Now, I don't know if she was being sarcastic. Maybe she was being facetious. I don't know. But the fact that you did what you were supposed to, the fact that you put a Democratic candidate on the poll when they should be there, you're not going to get any kudos from me. You're not going to get a good job because that's what you're supposed to do. You didn't go above and beyond. You did what you were supposed to do. I mean, that's how low the bar is now. Like, oh my God, they actually put his name there. Hallelujah. It's crazy. That's crazy. And I guess that's why, the Hill Rising Acts has MSNBC lost the left. And I guess to get back to the original question of this video, has MSNBC lost the left? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. I know a lot of the left is, upset with them right now, but I honestly think, especially during the general, because MSNBC is going to be covering that, a lot of the left are going to go back to, watch the MSNBC reports regarding who the Democratic nominee is. Their ratings are still going to skyrocket. They're losing to Fox. Fox is number one in the ratings right now, let's just be honest. But people will continue to watch them. I don't think they're going to take too big of a hit. I'm just being honest with you. Maybe for the time being, maybe for right now, where there's backlash and people are on their ass. But I don't think this is going to be a long-lasting thing. I don't think they've lost the left. And calling them left is even kind of funny. So yeah, that's just some new info I had, and something I wanted to talk about, because the Hill Rising always has some interesting topics. And totally unrelated to Yang at the moment, there's an article going around about Obama and how I think this is from 2016. I don't think this is from this election if you really read into it. But if, Sanders would have, quote unquote, taken off, he would have spoke up to stop him. This is why a lot of people hate Democrats. So if the person the people wanted started to take off and were to surpass Hillary, and he would start to become a huge thing and look like he was going to be the nominee, you would have spoken up to try and stop him. That is horrendous. That is absurd. And I'm going to have to ask you to take a seat, my man. It's not cool. Now, I've never had any delusions of grandeur with Obama. He is a standard, typical corporate Democrat. He's just smooth as all get up. He can play to a crowd. He's charming. He's debonair. He hits off a bunch of check marks. And, he has an incredible favorable rating right now. People really fuck with Obama, and I understand why. But I've never fooled myself into thinking, Barack Obama is a progressive or anything like that. He is a standard corporate Democrat. He's just a good one. So this doesn't surprise me. This doesn't surprise me at all. On that note, tying it back to Andrew Yang, I don't think if that was, Yang was going to be the Democratic nominee, I don't think Obama would have said anything like that. I'm going to speak up to stop Yang. I think he'd be cool with it. But I think if the people are electing who they want, don't interfere. Don't interfere. You can speak up. You're entitled to your opinion. But the fact that you want to speak up to stop him says a lot. And I just thought I'd throw that out there. I'm not going to make an entire video to it, but that sort of caught me off guard. So let me know your opinions in the comment below. I'm going to close this bad boy out. Do you think MSNBC has lost the left? And what are your thoughts on Obama saying he was going to stop Bernie Sanders? And do you think he'd try to attempt something like that with Andrew Yang? Curious as to your thoughts. We're trying to raise $75,000 for Andrew Yang. And last I checked, we were at 56K, which means we beat our goal, which was originally 50. And there are two channels that are definitely going to be interviewing Andrew Yang. That's Paget and Kai. There's 3 other channels, myself included, which will get an opportunity to be the third interviewee for Andrew Yang. And it's thanks to you guys that I'm even in that shuffle. So if you want to continue to donate to Yang to help him hit the 75K, I have his ActBlue link in the description below. Please feel free to donate. And since we are on the discussion of donations, this mic setup here, the new lights that I use in my video, and a lot of the equipment I have is thanks to you guys from your support. This channel is literally growing because of you, and I think I'm at 1900 subs, 1920 maybe, and getting close to 2K, so that'll be interesting. When I started the channel, I was gonna be surprised. I said I'd be surprised if I hit 500, and here we are, you know, an arm's length away from 2,000. So thank you guys. And if you feel like donating to the channel, I have a Cash App, a PayPal, and a Venmo in the link below, or in the description below rather. Please feel free to donate. Every little bit helps. So if you like what you see, you like what you hear, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. If you don't, let me know in the comment section why. I'm always down to talk about it. Hopefully I'll be talking to you guys soon. Have a good one. Peace.
My girl was in the club, yeah, we're feeling down the beat, yeah, the music on repeat, baby. I don't care, no one like you, don't need me. I know that you can feel me. We're dancing with my bling.